Welcome to Resource Grinds, your in-depth guide into resource farming in Fallout 76. In each episode of this new series, I'll be focusing on a single resource, breaking down its availability by workshop, mining, scrapping, and camp placement if applicable. Along the way, I'll provide additional tips on how you can maximize the yield of your farming efforts, so you can focus more on playing the game and less on collecting materials. In our first video, I'll be showing you where to find one of the game's most sought-after materials, lead. As a required component for crafting pretty much any kind of ballistic ammo in the game, keeping lead on hand is a vital part of ensuring a stable ammo supply for a majority of builds. Thankfully, when it comes to finding it, you've got a lot of options to choose from. So, without further delay, let's get into it. Unlike some of the other crafting materials in Fallout 76, there isn't a clear choice as to which workshop you should use for farming lead, namely because none of the workshops feature it as a primary resource. You will, however, find lead deposits at Berkeley Springs West, the Converted Munitions Factory, Dollysides Campground, the Grafton Steel Yard, Lakeside Cabins, and the Poseidon Energy Plant Yard. At these locations, you can build a single lead extractor along with an accompanying source of tin power to produce half a scrap of lead per minute. When it comes to picking which one of the workshops to use, ask yourself what other material you need. For example, if you're looking for steel, the Grafton Steel Yard would be your best option by far, whereas Poseidon is the clear choice if you also need fusion cores. If lead is the only thing you need, claiming a workshop probably isn't going to be the best route for getting it. You'll be much better off mining lead ore or scrapping junk, which I'll get into in a second. However, if you are looking for other resources, Fallout Builds offers a list of workshops and the specific resources that each offers, which you can use to determine which workshop is right for you. You'll find a link to that list in the description down below. When it comes to lead, mining is by far the best way to quickly get a lot of scrap, as long as you have enough acid on hand for the smelting. As with all mining efforts, remember to use a full set of excavator power armor when collecting the ore so that you get double the normal amount, and equip the Super Duper perk before smelting, which will provide up to a 30% chance of getting double the scrap every time you smelt. Once collected, lead ore can be smelted into lead scraps at any chemistry workbench, with 5 scraps costing 2 ore plus 1 acid. In terms of where you'll find lead ore, a huge quantity of it can be found in the Lucky Hole Mine, located just to the southeast of the monorail elevator and the hills that separate the Cranberry Bog region from Savage Divide. Between encounters with the inhabiting cultists, you can generally mine enough lead ore to smelt nearly 1,000 scraps, assuming that you collect an excavator and smelt with a fully leveled Super Duper perk card equipped. Outside of the Lucky Hole Mine, you'll find large numbers of veins along the southern map border and ash heap just to the southwest of the region's fissure site. You'll also find dense pockets of lead veins just to the east of Hornwright Testing Site number 3 and to the east of the abandoned mine shaft number 3. Otherwise, you can find veins of it across the map, with the only exception being the forest region, where you'll find almost none. Large quantities of lead can also be obtained by scrapping junk. Most notably, you can find large quantities of lead-heavy junk in the several weight rooms and gym areas spread out across the map. At these locations, you'll find several weights, which, once collected, will scrap down into pure lead. Just keep in mind that, as in real life, weights are heavy, so you'll want to scrap them as quickly as you can, and most likely will be over-encumbered until you do. Some locations have nearby workbenches that you can use to achieve this, while others don't. Either way, it helps to have some scrap kits on hand, unless you're a Fallout First member, in which case you can just place a survival tent and use the scrap box. Other items that offer decent yields in lead when scrapped include paint cans, rat poison, combination wrenches, and makeshift batteries. A single scrap of lead can be attained by scrapping pencils, cans, toys, baby rattles, and wooden blocks. While you can get some lead from scrapping weapons, they generally are not a good source of lead. Finally, if you want to ensure that you always have access to at least some amount of lead, you can strategically place your camp at the site of a lead deposit and build a resource collector on top of the deposit, which will provide you with up to 33 lead scraps per hour. Just keep in mind that a camp-placed lead extractor has a capacity limit of 14, so you'll need to drop by your camp every so often to empty out the new scraps to receive the highest yield. Mapalachia provides great maps detailing exactly where you can find lead resource nodes, which I'll provide a link to in the description down below. That's it for this grind. If you found this video helpful, hit the like button, and while you're at it, also hit the subscribe button and ring the bell if you'd like to be notified when future videos like this one are posted. I'll be back soon with another resource grind, but until then, and as always, for the Enclave.